Hi everyone, I'm Rhonda Weisberg with Channel 63, and I'd like to welcome you to another segment of Up Close and Personal. And today I have the pleasure of being in the beautiful home of Maggie Winner. And Maggie, say hello to everybody.
Hi, thank you Rhonda for having me.
This is my pleasure. So let's tell everybody a little bit about you and the relationship to BallenIsles. You've been here now for how many years? You're one of the pioneers, I know that.
A little over 20 years.
20 years. And always in the house here in St. James?
Yes.
Terrific. And you have a well-known, well-respected husband, also in the medical field, Paul.
That's correct.
And what does he do?
He's a neurologist.
He's a neurologist, and you have together 2 children.
Yes.
Boy and a girl?
Yes.
And they're still of school age?
One is still in college, and my son is 24 years old.
Very nice, very nice. So you're happy here in BallenIsles?
Yes, I love it.
Keep you for a while. Good, good. Many people would recognize Maggie if you spend some time in the gym, as I do. We've seen a lot of changes with Maggie. Maggie always had great figure, beautiful smile, but over the past couple of years, lots of changes have taken place. And I thought, wrongly so, that it was all just from exercise. And it turns out Maggie has a much greater secret than that. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay, and that has to do with your educational background. Would you tell us a little bit about how this nutritional business of yours has come to take place?
Yes, I am the owner of Extraordinary Health with Maggie, and that I went to nursing school and then went to Columbia to receive my master's and became a nurse practitioner. And after that point, we moved to Florida, and then I had my 2 children, so I became a stay-at-home mom. And after that point, I wanted to go back to work when they were in high school, and since my husband is a physician, it would be 2 of us on call, you know, it could be like overlapping at the same time. So I decided to further myself in nutrition, and I became a certified natural health practitioner. And just that with my nurse practitioner degree, I'm able to help people with their nutrition and their health and bring them to their optimum wellness.
Mm-hmm. So you wake up one day and you've got this degree, and nobody at that point just comes knocking on your door. How did this all begin? How did you market yourself? What made you think that you could take your new trade and help people basically within the community?
Well, we have such a beautiful, diverse community here. And whether it's women or men, people that have cardiovascular disease, people with, you know, pre-diabetes, or people trying to lose weight or gain weight, those are all some of my different clients. I guess word got out, and one woman that her husband was having cardiovascular quadruple bypass came to me and asked if I could help her with him, with his nutrition, so he could, you know, after the surgery, start a new life with his nutrition. And we worked together as a family, and everything turned out fabulous, and it was just through word of mouth that people have gotten to know me and how just small changes in your nutrition can make a big difference.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So people approach you easily and say, Maggie, I'm having trouble doing whatever, accomplishing something.
Yes.
Give me some words of wisdom. What kinds of things do you tell them? How do they get started?
Well, I have 2 main programs. One is a 90-day transformation that we talk about. My 4 pillars are exercise, nutrition, sleep, and stress, and they're all connected together. And you know, we're all different, and that's where it comes in, the bio-individuality. And what will work for me, Rhonda, might not work for you. Mm-hmm. So you can't, people think that they could just go on a diet and it's a cookie cutter approach that, you know, I streamline it to see exactly what they are eating right now. So I will ask you to write down for me what you've been eating for like 5 consecutive days and just see where the deficits are or where we can make some small changes that can enhance your nutrition and, you know, help you to lose weight or just feel stronger, have more energy, whatever you're looking for.
Mm-hmm. I think most of us would agree that the lifestyle that we lead here in BallenIsles, in Florida in general, makes it very, very difficult to eat well, eat sensibly, and, you know, live within the guidelines of good nutrition. Do you agree with me?
Absolutely.
All the eating out that we do, and whether it's locally in the bistro or out to, you know, more exotic restaurants, it's really tough. Is there something that you would tell the average person? What do you stay away from? What do you look for in a menu that says, I can eat here, I can be a part of this group, but I have to eat a little bit more sensibly.
Correct. Well, that's a very good point, Rhonda. And, it's so important for people to realize that whether they are at the bistro or Brio or someplace exotic, that if you were to order, let's say that you are trying to lose weight or just eat a lot cleaner, that instead of having your organic grilled salmon over a bed of capellini, you can just, nicely ask the waiter, I have some, dietary issues going on right now, or some, allergies or gluten or MSG, that is there any way I could just have that on a bed of spinach? And, 99% of the time, if you ask nicely to the wait staff, that they'll respond to say, absolutely, our chef, wants to meet everybody's needs. So that's important just to have a voice, and because when you treat your body well, your body loves you back.
That's a very good point. I like that very much. What about children and grandchildren? Many of us are concerned about our children and grandchildren. We take a look at them, they come down once or twice a year, and we might think, they've either lost too much weight, or I can see that the kids are really packing on the pounds and maybe not exercising as much as we would like them to. That's the cry of the world today, that they're sitting in front of the computer and video games and so on, and it's obvious that something's gone wrong. What have you had an experience with that? Have you been able to help someone with their own children or grandchildren?
Well, I have given a few lectures at some of the local grammar schools and high schools, and definitely the screen time between the TV, their iPhones, the Xbox, all those different things that the kids are on, plus all the time in front of the computer doing their homework, that's all still considered screen time. So I think when that is reduced and the kids are back to being kids and playing and, even maybe getting in 20 minutes swimming in the pool, just to try and squeeze in that exercise and have like a nice schedule. And then in the evening time when dinner's finished, there should be no 10 o'clock snacks. And that's when I think the kids do, with the stress that's going on in their lives, that they, some of them pack it on.
Yeah. It becomes obvious more and more each year that when you get to see some of the same kids coming back, that there are a lot of changes, some good and some less positive. When you go into a restaurant and you see a menu, do you immediately say, if I were the chef or if I were someone, in a manager here, I might like to restructure something?
Oh, definitely, yeah. I just think that with restaurants, especially in South Florida, as they do in New York, they'll have like a little heart healthy sign next to ones that if you are on a cardiac diet, that you have many restrictions, like regarding olive oil and no oils being added. All that's so important, especially, if somebody's trying to avoid having surgery, or if somebody's post-op now and is going out and wants to feel that they are eating healthy. And there should be, choices like maybe no potatoes, and maybe 2 vegetables. And any of the restaurants, they're all happy to do that.
Right. What do you think about all of these diets that are either low carb, no carb? Is that something that you recommend, or do you think there's another way to do it?
Well, there's good carbs and there's bad carbs. So we all need carbohydrates. I eat carbohydrates every day, and that's like the fuel that our bodies need to maintain our energy. So you have to have a nice balance with the proteins and the carbohydrates and small amounts of fats.
Okay. Do you find that you eat in most nights?
I cook 5 nights a week.
You do cook
5 to
nights a
6,
week.
yeah.
And that's been part of the secret to your success in keeping
Yes.
everything under control.
Yes.
I know.
You have that control.
That's it.
That you know what's going into your foods.
Right. I find that with restaurants, it isn't so much the fat that I'm concerned about, it's the sodium.
Correct.
And getting them to understand, I don't need them to add a pound of salt in order to make this taste good.
Right. You want to taste your fish or taste the lentils, whatever you're eating. That's why, again, it's nice to have a voice to just say, just as a recommendation, the lentils are really salty. In the future, can I request that they be made without salt?
And the restaurants, for the most part, are willing to listen now.
Yes.
I think something has changed over the past few years, especially since the gluten allergy became more prevalent, that they're used to the clients now, the customers, voicing their opinion and just not taking for granted
Correct.
whatever you put on the table is what you're going to eat and like. You feel the same way, that there's
Yes,
a change?
definitely. And, it benefits the restaurant to have, the comments coming back to the chef, because this is the future of the restaurant, and you want to see the good restaurants succeed. And nobody wants to have somebody have an issue with, an MSG allergy or a peanut allergy or gluten, and then have the ambulance, arrive at the restaurant.
Very bad publicity.
Very bad.
Yeah.
So they really, the management needs to really be on it with listening to people. And we have so many restaurants around here too, so it's, very high competition. So it is good when they listen to their good customers.
To their clients. So you cook 5 nights a week. Are you very rigid with what you cook each and every night, or do you really mix it up?
I mix it up.
You do. So it wasn't like the way I grew up. If it's Tuesday, it's definitely spaghetti and...
No, it's different every night.
It's different every night. That's great. So your husband really looks forward to coming home and having a real homemade meal that is satisfying.
And then when we do go out, we look forward to that.
And as far as BallenIsles is concerned, I think that we've come a long way with our restaurants in mixing things up and being more sensitive to what the client is asking. Have you gotten involved at all with any of the committees?
I have been involved with the chefs, and they do take all the comments into consideration, and also then on their own, they've decreased the salt, and they did that about 2 years ago just to be very active. There's salt and pepper on every table, so people can salt their soups or their meals to their liking. But to me, they're fabulous, so they've really taken very good recommendations to make vegetarian options.
Right, I've seen a lot of that myself.
Right, which is great.
Very good. So we're coming to the end of our time, unbelievably so, but I would ask you to think about this one question. If you really had a recommendation for the average person here at BallenIsles, whether they needed to lose a little weight, a lot of weight, or just get something else under control, what are just a couple of things that you would say, these are key? This is the way to get started and keep on control.
That's a great question too, Rhonda. Besides portion control and reading labels and knowing what's in your food that's going into your bodies, then something that I've told all my clients is that when they finish eating dinner and the dishwasher's loaded, this is men or women, pretend there's a gate, pull the gate and close the kitchen, and maybe just have your water later on in the evening. That there shouldn't be going in and out multiple times to have snacks and everything else. So
very good advice. Very good advice. Something I think that we're all guilty of, knowing that there's this extra little treat or leftovers in the refrigerator, and you don't want it to go to waste. It's the old mentality, but that really has to stop before changes begin.
And there's just small changes that one can make to really, step up the weight loss or help with their cardiac issues to make them healthier. And I work with some athletes too that need help with their electrolytes and the balance between protein and carbohydrates before a race. So I have a Jumpstart program too. I don't know if I told you about that, Rhonda, and it's a 1-month program just to kind of jumpstart and give yourself a nutritional makeover. Just to kind of just make sure you're doing everything right, because there's so many different choices out there. And let's say with cranberry juice, you really want the cranberry juice that's 8 grams of sugar and not 39 grams of sugar. And it's those little things that cause the spikes in your blood, and want to keep that glucose nice and steady just to keep you.
Well, Maggie, you are definitely a wealth of information, obviously because of your training, but you've shown the world that it absolutely works. And I'm sure you wouldn't mind if people within BallenIsles see you and approach you and say, I'd like to sit and talk with you for a minute or so. Great, that's what we like. Open-ended conversations here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
A pleasure to be with you. Tune in again